Saint of the Day, September 5th, Saint Teresa of Calcutta. Today, the Church celebrates the feast of Saint Teresa of Calcutta, a woman whose life became an extraordinary testament to Christ's love for the poorest and most forgotten. Known to the world simply as Mother Teresa, she dedicated her entire existence to living the gospel among the destitute and abandoned, reminding all of us of the dignity and worth of every human being. Born Angeles Gonkshbohakshiu in Skopje, Albania, now North Macedonia, in 1910, Teresa was raised in a devout Catholic family. Her father's sudden death when she was just 8 years old left her mother to raise the family alone, instilling in young Gonksh a spirit of generosity and compassion. By the age of 12, she felt a strong call to religious life, already experiencing the first stirrings of the vocation that would shape her destiny. At 18, full of faith and courage, she left her homeland never to see her mother or sister again, to join the Sisters of Loreto in Ireland. There, she learned English, the language she would need for her missionary work in India. A year later, she arrived in Calcutta and began her novitiate in Darjeeling. She took her first religious vows in 1931, choosing the name Teresa after Saint Teresa of Lisieux, the patron saint of missionaries. Because another nun had already chosen that spelling, she adopted the Spanish form, Teresa. Mother Teresa began her ministry as a teacher at St. Mary's School in Calcutta, where she gained a reputation for her kindness and dedication. Yet, the suffering she witnessed outside the convent walls deeply troubled her spirit. The grinding poverty, illness, and loneliness of the people in the city's slums moved her to prayer and action. In 1946, during a train ride to Darjeeling for a retreat, she received what she later described as a call within a call. She sensed Jesus inviting her to leave her teaching and serve him among the poorest of the poor. After a period of discernment and with permission from her superiors, she left the security of the convent and stepped into the streets of Calcutta. She began by teaching poor children and tending to the sick and dying who had no one else to care for them. In 1950, Mother Teresa founded the Missionaries of Charity, a new religious congregation dedicated to serving those no one else would touch: the hungry, the naked, the homeless, the crippled, the blind, the lepers, all those people who feel unwanted, unloved, and cared for throughout society, people that have become a burden to the society and are shunned by everyone. The sisters adopted a simple white sari with blue borders as their habit, symbolizing both their poverty and their unity with the people they served. Under Mother Teresa's leadership, the Missionaries of Charity grew rapidly. By the time of her death, her sisters numbered over 4,000, serving in more than 100 countries across the world. They opened homes for the dying, orphanages, leprosy clinics, and AIDS hospices. Wherever suffering was found, Mother Teresa's sisters sought to bring light and love. Despite persistent health problems in her later years, including several heart attacks and a long struggle with declining strength, Mother Teresa continued her mission, traveling the world to inspire others and extend her order's reach. She was a tireless advocate for the dignity of every human life, from the unborn to the dying, and her message resounded far beyond the slums of Calcutta. Mother Teresa's work was recognized with numerous awards, including the Nobel Peace Prize in 1979. Yet she remained humble, always pointing to Christ as the source and goal of her service. In her own words, "Not all of us can do great things. But we can do small things with great love." Mother Teresa died on September 5, 1997. The entire world mourned her passing, and the Indian government honored her with a state funeral, an extraordinary tribute to a woman whose only desire was to love and serve the least of her brothers and sisters. Pope John Paul II initiated her beatification process almost immediately, waiving the usual 5-year waiting period in recognition of her holiness and worldwide impact. On September 4, 2016, Pope Francis canonized her as Saint Teresa of Calcutta in a joyful ceremony in St. Saint Teresa of Calcutta's life calls each of us to see Christ in the poor, the suffering, and the marginalized. Her example encourages us to love selflessly, serve generously, and bring hope where there is despair. As we remember her today, let us ask for her intercession, that we too may become instruments of God's mercy and love in the world. Saint Teresa of Calcutta, pray for us.